Welcome to everyone tonight on this Tuesday evening. Hope you had a wonderful day and hope you are having a wonderful evening. I'm going to be spending just a few moments with you tonight, and I appreciate the fact that you're on. Go ahead, hit someone up, let them know we're on, and we talk about we have these conversations and talk about things that pertain to your life that will enhance your ability to maximize your potential and to actually become what you were designed to be in the earth. Those are the types of conversations that we come on to have. And so we talk about the things that really matter most to the soul and in the soul. So let someone know that we are on tonight. Send them a text, send them a message them, and invite them to join us. All right. So it is started just a little bit late, but we are about to get rolling. I think Jewel's going to join me here tonight. She may not be on camera, but she will join me we're going to spend a little time doing another session with her, which would be a third session. And we, again, invite any of you who would like to go through a coaching process with us. We invite you to join our coaching program that actually starts on this Friday. It's not too late. We did close out the enrollment for a period, but we opened it up for these last 3 days. We opened it up for these last 3 days. So if you want to get in on that, you still can. Program will begin on the 30th. And so the link is in my bio. So you'll be able to click on that link and get the information you need to enroll in that coaching program. We want to just encourage you tonight. I want to spend a couple of moments just encouraging you in your ability, in your time. This is your season. This is your hour. This is your moment. This is your day. If you believe that, then you can walk in that reality. You can begin moving in a direction that says this is your day, this is your hour, this is your time. If you don't know what that means that all of the things that you've been waiting for, waiting to do, all of the things, the hopes, the dreams, the time to begin pursuing those things, if you are not already, is now. Now is that time. We all know that tomorrow is not promised us, but even more so than that, we're in such a strategic time in the earth. Okay? The earth is in a strategic time. And so those who are inhabiting the earth are also in a very strategic time. I talk about this a lot, the past 3 years and all of the loss that has taken place in the earth, all of the things, all of the people that have left the earth. There are some important people that have left the earth. There are some important, what we call pillars, that have left the earth. And unless God's going to come tomorrow, he expects us to continue on even through the loss. He expects us to rally ourselves together, to pull ourselves up, to gather our strength. He expects us to get clarity and gain clarity on who we are and what it is we are to be doing in the earth. He expects us to focus our hearts, our minds, and our attention on making sure that we impact the world with our gifts and our talent and our abilities. And so that's the hour that we are in right now. If you are busy working and making a living and buying cars and houses, all of that's great stuff. But make sure that you don't neglect the more weighty matters in life. Because you can be here tomorrow, you can be here today, and you can be gone tomorrow. And what will be lost if that happens to you? I'm here to tell you today that you can be empowered with life when you have purpose. Jesus was on the earth. People were trying to kill him, trying to take him out. They didn't like what he was doing, but he was empowered with his purpose. That's why he said to people, you can't take my life. I'll lay it down when it's time. When I'm through, when I'm done with what I came to do, I'll lay down my life. Until then, Okay, there's nothing you can do about it. He was empowered with his purpose. And I believe that we are empowered with ours when we are actively engaged in it, moving intentionally in the direction of our purpose, and making sure that every day is spent in one way, shape, form, or fashion, progressing and moving towards an purpose. Because when you are extending your purpose, you are extending the kingdom. So that's my encouragement to you. I say to you, as I often do, that you were made for this moment. You were made for this time that you are in right now. So you know what? Be encouraged and be about the Father's business in this hour and in this season. So, having said that, let's see. Thank you to all of you who are joining. Hello, my brother Nate. Thank you for joining us. Tell someone we are on, man. Invite them to come and join us. We are encouraging people to be and to do and to have. And you notice the first part of that is to be. Many people are trying to do and trying to have, and they haven't learned or haven't understood how to be. You know, when you understand how to be, which means that you have to begin to the search and the journey to discover who you are so that you can be who you are in the earth. Most people trying to have and trying to do, it's like putting the cart before the horse. It's like the tail wagging the dog. It's the order, the structure is behind. It's wrong. It's out of order. No, we must be. And then what we do will flow out of who we are. That's called being authentic. That's called being true to yourself, being true to who God made you to be in the earth. And then, as the music started playing right off the bat there. Let's close that out. That's some good music, though. But let's cancel that. But we can begin moving in the direction that God designed us to move in, and we become intentional about every day. One of my favorite movies, some of you probably heard me talk about this. No, I'm not talking about The Matrix now, but that is definitely number one movie of all time for me. But one of my top 10 is The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, and we played the character, one of the lead characters in that movie. One of the reasons why that movie is one of my favorite movies is because of how it dives into the consciousness of the samurai people, the people who lived the lifestyle of a samurai, a warrior. Okay, one of the things that Tom Cruise's character discovered as he was a burnt out alcoholic because of all of the stuff that he had seen in war. He really had no meaning or purpose to his life outside of what he did in the military as a soldier. And what he had seen as a soldier had discouraged him so badly that he took to the bottle, and he just really didn't care about anything. Well, when he encountered the samurai people, one of the things that changed him was the fact of how they lived. And he said, and by the way, this changed his character in the movie, but it also changed something in Tom Cruise, his testimony, not mine for him, his. But he discovered that the samurai people would spend every waking moment of every day devoting themselves to whatever the thing was that they felt they were called to do, whatever their skill, whatever their lot in life was, whatever their assignment was. They spent every waking moment devoting themselves to getting better at it, making it bigger, making it better, becoming sharper, wiser, whatever it was, whatever it took to extend and advance their gift, their talent, their ability, their assignment. They spent all of their days doing something that would move the needle in the direction of their purpose. And so that so impacted me, being a man of purpose and a person who has studied purpose and destiny for over 30 years. That movie impacted me because of that alone. And there were some other good things in the movie too, but that was the one thing that impacted me the greatest. And so I fully believe that we are empowered with life when we know our purpose and we are actively engaged in living out that purpose. Come on, look around you. Look at people who, begin to study people. Look at people who appear to be or seem to be living out their purpose. Look at their lives. Look at the fulfillment that they have. Look at how they approach, how they wake up every morning, and how they approach every day. Look at how they live their lives. And then look at people who don't have that. Okay? Look at people who, have been captivated by the things of this world to such a degree that if and when they lose some of the things of this world, they're devastated. Not just broken, they're devastated. Are we no more than the things we attain? Is that the limit of who we are? Is that the extent of who we can be? Absolutely not. We are not the things we attain. And so those are the kinds of conversations that we like to have. Did I get Jewel on? Yes, okay, there we go. All right, she should be on now. Yeah, so that's a little bit about what we're doing and what we're talking about. And the coaching program that we are starting on Friday, it's designed to help you to, first of all, gain the mindset and the mind positioning necessary to be able to live purposely every day, to be able to get and stay focused on what matters most to you and in your life, to begin to help you focus your energy so that every day you are making a strategic advancement towards your purpose, towards your destiny, towards doing what you came here to do. You didn't just come here to suck up air. You didn't just come here to buy houses and buy cars and go to school. And, everything should have a purpose and should be aimed at some ultimate goal that you have. That ultimate goal should be to fulfill the purpose that brought you into existence. That's my encouragement to you. And I want you to be fully engaged in your purpose. I want you to be confident in who you are. A lot of people, so many people are not confident in who they are. And that thing, confidence, I did a study once on what famous people said about confidence. Very interesting study. Hit me up on the side. I'll share that study with you. Very interesting, though, how people who are, quote unquote, successful or appear to be successful in something, how they see confidence. Very interesting. Anyway, hi, Jewel. You made it on?
Yep.
Good to see you.
You
awesome.
too.
How you doing today?
I'm good.
You good?
Doing all right, yeah.
All right. All right. Very good. Very good. So you ready to jump in?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to continue this coaching process with Jewel. She's in the third leg of it, and we're going to continue that today. I'm going to be asking her some questions about a particular piece that she's doing, and we'll talk through it, walk through it, and just process as we go through it. All of this is a part of what's necessary to be able to fortify your mind or to build your mental capacity. When you build your mental capacity, by default, you're also building your emotional capacity. Now, does that sound like, well, if I go to school, I'll be up? No, I'm not talking about going to school. I'm talking about building your mental capacity, which means that you understand how to strengthen yourself, how to strengthen your thinking, how to curate appropriate patterns of thinking and annihilate inappropriate patterns of thinking. Okay? Somebody needs me to say that again, so I'm going to say it again for that person. Learning how to curate appropriate patterns of thinking and annihilate inappropriate patterns of thinking. Say it another way, learn how to build and apply appropriate patterns of thinking and learn how to disassociate yourself from inappropriate patterns of thinking. You know, there are a lot of people who don't know how to do that, and it shows up in their lives. So, your piece today is third one, most prized creation. You got it ready?
Yep.
All right, let's go.
69. Okay. This song was in my head all day because you told me we were doing this one.
Oh, that okay.
Yeah. Look at me. Just look at me. I am beautiful, as you can see. I am wonderfully made and uniquely fashioned for my Creator's presence just to make him happy. He made me with a purpose. He filled me with a passion. He validated me with a promise, and he gave me the abilities that exceed me. I can run through troops. I can run through troops. I can leap over walls. I can speak to mountains. I can fly with eagles. I am his most prized creation. You may not like what you see, but I'm sure it's because you don't understand fully. You see, the one who made me is a master craftsman. He's able to always get, in the end, exactly what he imagined in the beginning. He can take what looks like trash and turn it into treasure that no man can measure. He can take the unseemly and unstately and turn them both into masterpieces of rare beauty. He can take a ditch filled with muck and mire and turn it into pure, refreshing, life-yielding river. Yes, he can do anything because he's already done everything. And the most awesome part is this. My Creator is your Creator too. And what he's done in me, he's also done in you. We are his most prized creations.
Wow. I know I say this a lot, but that's one of my favorites. I got a lot of favorites. So, most prized creation. So there's a lot in this piece to unpack, right? So let's start at the beginning because it begins to set the stage for you having a foundation for confidence, right? So we started out talking about purpose and where you came from with the first piece, and the second piece, talked about identity, and being able to lock into an identity and why it's important and how you can position yourself in your identity to not be derailed by circumstances or situations in life. And here today, we're getting the foundation for your confidence. Okay? So give me your thoughts on the first few lines or anything, anywhere in the piece.
The first few lines, it's like, let's see. It's almost like uncomfortable, I guess the word is, to say. I can really see how saying this piece over and over in the mirror is something that's really needed to lay the foundation of confidence that you're talking about, because it's almost like even if I see myself as beautiful, you don't want to say it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know if it's a false sense of humility or it's just like, like you don't want to brag on yourself. And I don't know what that is, but that, as far as the first few lines. But I mean, as it goes on to say exactly how he made me with a purpose, a passion, a promise. He validated me with a promise. That's really big, because I don't need to look for validation anywhere else. He gave me abilities that exceed me, to where I need to look to him for the things that he's put in me in order to bring them to their full potential. When it goes to, I guess, the fourth stanza towards the end, when he says he's always able to get in the end exactly what he imagined in the beginning. I think that's been very encouraging to me in this time, because as I've shared on the lives and through the process, you know, just being in a space of being unsure and kind of looking for a new direction in this space that I'm in, it's been encouraging to think on, you know, scripture that says his word can't return void, and to know that, you know, he does have a purpose and a plan for me, like he says in Jeremiah 29, and to know that he's going to finish what he started. And really, it's already finished, and it's for me to walk out and find. And so I think that that line really speaks to me, because it's been something that I've constantly just tried to remind myself that, you know, when we read things in the Bible, we get to see the end a couple minutes later, but that's not real life. And so I'm kind of going through a process and holding on to my belief that he finishes what he started, and his promises never fail, and that all of those things. So this poem brings up a lot of that. I think that my confidence in who he's created me to be specifically has been what's been attacked with some of the things that I've shared. I think it might have been the second live that we did. You know, things that have been said that have caused me to kind of shrink and be unsure about some of the qualities of myself that maybe have rubbed people the wrong way, or things that just have caused me to kind of lose confidence in certain areas. I think that this poem directly speaks how I need to be confident in who he's made me to be, how he's made me to be, that it's all for a purpose, that he can take the unseemly and unstately and turn them both into masterpieces of rare beauty. You know, that speaks directly to, you know, exactly what I'm talking about. You know, something that I'm unsure, God, can you use this for good? Like, is this a quality that I need to try to squash? Am I too bold? Am I too this? Am I too that? But I need to give it to him and let him show me what exactly it's supposed to look like. Yeah, there's a lot happening in this piece.
Yeah. Well, let me stop you right there, because I want to deal with that first half of it.
Yes.
Is it safe to say that it starts out looking like or feeling like that all of the attention is on you, right? And then it quickly shifts the attention from you and puts it on who made you, your creator, right? That process is very important, because how we process not just who we are is always going to be affected by how we process how we see ourselves. Who we are and how we see ourselves affect each other. You say this is one of those chicken and egg thing. Which comes first, how I see myself or who I am? And that's a great question. In order for you to accept or embrace who you are, you have to begin seeing yourself differently.
Yeah.
So, because, you know, it's difficult to embrace who you are without seeing yourself differently. Because if you keep seeing yourself the same way, even though you may be hearing some amazing things about who you are, God himself can come down and sit in your lap and tell you how wonderful and beautiful that he made you. But if you're still seeing yourself through your own eyes, it's like those are just words, even though they're coming from God himself. They're just words, you know. So how you see yourself has to begin to shift. And that's why this right there, that's one of probably the heaviest line in the piece. Look at me. We don't want other people to look at me, because I don't want to look at me, right? And I don't want no one else to look at me until I make myself up. In other words, until I make myself look a certain way, that so that I'll feel good about who I am. And when you see me, you'll think that I'm somebody, or that I look good, or that I smell good, taste good, whatever. You'll have a favorable response to who I am because I've made myself look good, right? And see, that's all that's all external responses to an internal cry. Okay? You can't make yourself look good enough on the outside to make yourself feel good on the inside. And that's one of the misconceptions that people have. I can make myself look good enough on the outside to make myself feel good about myself on the inside. And it is a lie. It is a lie. Okay? So that would be one of the first image files that you would or that you would recognize. That would be one of the first false images, one of the first lies to identify right there off the bat how I see myself. So if you feel some kind of way when you say look at me, just look at me, and almost everyone does. I've never given this piece to someone and they didn't struggle with the first line, right? Because it says, put the spotlight on me. Because what you're about to see is not what you think you're looking at. What you're really looking at is a masterpiece. What you're really looking at is a unique creation of God. Let me tell you about what you're looking at when you look at me. Yeah. See, you look at me, but you're not seeing what you think you see. Now that line is for yourself. You have to be able to look at yourself and understand that what you're seeing in the mirror is not what you're really seeing. You have to look past that, okay? And when you can learn to look past that, then it becomes easier for others to look past it, right? Because the view we have of ourselves, many times we transfer that view to others because of the way we, for instance, right? You ever seen someone who was overconfident? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like you knew that they were compensating for something, right? People who just over the top, almost always, I won't say always, but almost always, it's a compensation for some other area where they feel vastly inferior. Okay, so we tend to do that. That's a part of human nature. And when I say human nature, I'm not so much talking about how we were created or designed, but how we have learned how to adapt to circumstances, to situations, to people. Watch this. How we have learned how to adapt to trauma. Okay? And the trauma that I'm talking about is the original trauma of being separated from, pulled away from, moved away from the Creator who made us beautifully and wonderfully made us. And because we got separated from that Creator, it created a gap or a loss of structure, a loss of the design. The separation from us and Him caused us now to be confused about who we are. When you connected with Him, there's no confusion about who you are. But when you're separated from Him, now the chaos comes in. Because that's what happens when we lose track of, when we lose our sense of stability in terms of who we are, where we come from. Look at a child, man. Children, when they are in a good, wonderful, safe environment, you can tell the difference between a child who's in a safe environment and a child who has to fight for their lives every day, whether that's physically or emotionally. People fight for their lives emotionally. It's because they're not safe. And they're not safe because they've been disassociated, pulled away from, disconnected from that makes them safe. So being able to turn the attention from myself to the one who made me is a very strategic and important skill to develop. Did I just call that a skill? Exactly. It's an important skill to develop, right? So that you can say, look at me, because as Christians, right, don't we want others to look at us and see Christ? That's what we want, right? Yeah. I'm not going to go down that road because that road will take me somewhere else. But that's what we want. We want people to look at us and see the beauty that is within us. The beauty in us is our Creator, our Maker, what He made us to be, what He made us to do, how He made us, how He caused even the things that we may or may not like about ourselves, how He even made those things beautiful. And those things are a beautiful part of you. And just because someone else didn't understand the beautiful part of you and decided to label it or mismanage it or mishandle you, that doesn't change the fact that you're beautifully and wonderfully made, right?
True.
So this is the communication. All right, so it shifts from that. I spent a little longer on that part because that's the heaviest part of the whole piece.
Yeah.
If you get past that part, man, you can begin to embrace the rest of it, because again, it shifts from you and then it becomes all about Him and what He's done, and which gives you your foundation for confidence. Your foundation for confidence should always be because of and rooted and grounded in the one who made you, because none of us made ourselves, right? So good, bad, indifferent, pretty, ugly, fat, skinny, whatever He made us to be, that's what we are, and we are beautiful. Now, am I saying that we can't work on ourselves and work on our... Nah, that's not what I'm saying, not at all. Because He expects us to. He expects us to, just like the samurai people, to utilize every waking moment of every day to make ourselves look more like what He designed us to be. That's our job, right? So yeah, we have to work on ourselves and we have to develop ourselves, but it has to begin with what's going on up there. Okay, so there's your foundation. Now, as you are walking through this piece, you can begin to embrace, right, the and say, I'll use the term the legs of your confidence, because your confidence has to have something to stand on. Well, what is it going to stand on? It's going to stand on the foundation of not who you are. Your confidence is, I think I said it this way once. In fact, I quoted it this way. The key to self-confidence is not to have any. Our confidence can never be in ourselves, because we are frail and we will mess things up. We will disappoint people. We'll let them down, and not necessarily intentionally, just being human, right? Our confidence has to be in the one who can't fail. Right? It has to be in the one who made us, designed us, and created us. So as you get your legs for your confidence, which becomes what you stand on, your legs are who He is, what He's done, right? And who He is and what He's done in you. Okay? And why? And then you can, I love how the poem begins to move into a place where now it's not about you, it's about others as well. Because everything that He's done in you, He's done that in every human being, every creation, everyone that's living on this planet that was come as a result of how God designed life to come forth on this planet, and that's everybody. Okay, unless you're a test tube baby. I know we have some test tube babies. That's another story, another day. Okay, but God designed life, and he designed life on this planet to come forth a particular way based upon his design. And everyone who is a part of that design, he has done the same things in terms of what he's given us to work with. We all have unique and individual talents and abilities and assignments in the earth and our own circumstances and situations. All of that is still designed to maximize the potential that he put in us to do, to first of all be, to do, and to have in the earth. All right. Now, so I identified the first false image or damaged image file. Okay. Can you identify any others in there?
Maybe that I'm too messed up, or I'm too far gone, or I'm too whatever for God to use, or for him to turn around, where it talks about he can take what looks like trash and turn it into treasure. He can take the unseemly and stately, that whole stanza.
So on the first side of it, you got how you see yourself. And then this piece, the part of that you're talking about now, is kind of moves into how you feel about yourself. Okay? So that's the file.
Okay.
The first part, the file, was how you're seeing yourself, right? This file is how you feel about yourself. Now, so what's the lie that's associated with that damaged image file?
I don't know, that I'm too messed up or too, I don't know. I'm not sure.
So walk through those middle pieces there, because there's a few in there. It depends on which one, resonates the most with you. So starting with, you may not like what you see. Now, keeping in mind, we started with how you see. Now we're talking about how you feel.
So that other
But
people.
how we feel is many times we base that on how other people are seeing us. And then that contributes to how we feel about ourselves. Right. So it sets it out. You may not like what you see, but there's a reason why you don't like what you see. And that reason is
you don't understand fully.
You don't understand. You don't understand who I am. You don't understand what God has done in me. Okay? So the file of how I feel about myself, the lie has to be associated with your understanding about who you are and what God has done in you. So being able to embrace that, you got to go through that lie. So you have to discover what those lies are. What are the lies about how I really, really feel about myself? Well, I really don't feel like I can do whatever. I really don't feel like I'm able to. I really don't feel like I'll ever be. I really don't feel like I'll ever accomplish. These are some of the things that will incubate in how we feel about ourselves. And if we don't get those things out of there, then that incubation becomes our own sense of reality about ourselves. In other words, we begin to believe those things.
Well, yeah, okay? I mean, for me personally, I don't know if you wanted me to personally answer, but yeah, I think that, almost pretty much exactly what you said as examples, which is like, sometimes I really don't feel like I'll ever be some of the things that have been spoken over me. They seem very far off. And even though I know that it's outside of me and I wouldn't get there on my own in the first place, I still sometimes struggle with connecting, like where I am with where I'm at least intellectually trying to believe I will be. Whether it's like prophetic word, whether it's like me physically knowing that I don't belong in the space that I'm in forever, that it's temporary and that I'm supposed to be wherever that place is, the next place that I have in my head. But sometimes I struggle with, feeling like I will ever actually be there or ever can, or like, and I know that it's like a mental thing, which is, all of what we're talking about, all of it is mental.
Yeah.
So I mean, that would definitely be the corrupted image file for me, as far as feeling how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Would you say, does this resonate with you any? Perhaps maybe one of the things that fuels that feeling is feeling like you have to do it, or there's something that you gotta do to make it come to pass.
Absolutely.
And you may not feel adequate or confident in your ability to do it.
Yes, that, and not feeling like whatever it is that I feel like I have to do, whatever I'm currently doing is never enough.
Never enough. Okay. So there's a lie. There's one right there. You just said it. What I'm doing is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, the reason why that's a powerful line that has to be identified as a lie, because some people will acknowledge it but not necessarily identify it as a lie. Okay? Because they really do feel that way. Okay? And you can feel that way, but you got to identify that as a lie.
Yeah.
Here's why. If you lock yourself into what I am doing is not enough, when do you break out of that? What will you have to do to have done enough? Where is the bar?
I think that's where comparison comes in, and what you think other people are doing, what you see like on social media that other people are. Yeah.
Comparison feeds it.
Yeah.
Right? And if you let that happen, there's always going to be somebody bigger, better, prettier, smarter, sing better, sound better, talk better, walk better. There's always going to be better if you're just looking for that. So if that's your benchmark, man, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You will always have that same. Remember I said if you incubate it, it actually becomes your reality. That's what happens when you incubate what I am doing is not enough. No, you have to change your positioning on that. What I am doing is contributing to where I am going. Okay, it doesn't have to be enough. What it has to be is a contribution to your advancement. Okay, and as long as you are doing something to contribute to and advance, regardless of how big or how small it is, then you can embrace this reality and truth, is that God is really the one who's going to do it. He's really the one who's going to make this thing happen. Because even if I can do it myself, and I do it myself, right? Take the God factor out of it. Now, not only am I taking the God factor out, I'm also taking the fulfillment factor out. So that means that won't be enough when I get there. Mm-hmm. Even if I can do it, it's like, that's it. I'm still not satisfied. I still don't satisfied. So what do? You get back on that wheel and you start doing the same thing again. It becomes a moving target. You will never be satisfied. You will never be enough, right? So every day you have to reconcile your account with yourself, okay? Whatever it is that you did today can be an advancement or a contribution towards your advancement, even if it was something that moved you back or appeared to. You can still choose to look at that as an advancement because you have the, first of all, the wherewithal to recognize it. And secondly, you have the opportunity to learn from it. Okay? And if you learn from it, it was most definitely not a detriment. It was most definitely a contribution. You see what I'm saying? Just shifting how you see it will help to be able to reverse some of those lies that have made themselves home in our souls, you know. And it really is perspective. It really is perspective. Perspective is such a beautiful word to me because it's so empowering, right? I can choose to see things any way I want to see them. That's my choice. That's my prerogative, right? Nobody can make me. Nobody can take that power away from me, right? I have to give it away, okay? And regardless of what you put me through, you know, I still have to give it away, you know. And so things like that, those are the types of things where our real power exists. And when we learn how to not yield in those spaces, man, you become powerful when you learn how not to yield in those kinds of spaces. And so that's why it's important to be aware of not just the damaged image files, but the lies that feed those image files. You cut off the lies, right? And that image will starve. And all you got to do now is be putting the truth in there, and that thing will be gone, and then the truth will be in there. Okay? It's just like if you cut the limbs off of a tree. Limbs have to be connected to the tree in order to live. The branches have to be connected to the vine in order to continue to live. You separate them, branches are going to die. Okay? So that's why that's important. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Makes
All
sense.
right. Anything else you want to make mention of about it?
I don't think so. Not at the moment. I have a lot to, I guess, process and write. I've been writing more. And yeah, I'm thinking that I need to type them up and just print them and like put it on my mirror and kind of do it that way as a reminder. Specifically this one, but even the first two that we've done, because this is the third or fourth, I can't remember. But yeah, I really see this as like a starting point, and not that the other two have been cemented yet. It's just I really can identify with this place and the need for me to repeat, like just be specific, and then looking for verses that which I can hear them as I'm saying them, where the inspiration came from as far as the verses, but pulling those specific verses so that I'm reciting even the specific word of God back to myself. But yeah, that's kind of just what's going through my head at the moment.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And the other process that's not a part of this particular coaching, because I spend a lot of time in the coaching, but we actually built it out as a course. But utilizing the confidence calibration table, where you actually do have to get in the mirror, right? And because that's your work, is to be in that mirror and internalize what you're saying, okay? And the only way to internalize it is to really make a connection with the deepest part of you. That's why being in the mirror is so important, and learning how to look into your own soul. You know, they say the eyes are the windows to the soul, where you look into your own soul and begin talking to the person that's deepest in there. That real you that's in there, not the one that likes to paint the picture. No, the one who's really in there, you know, and begin speaking directly to that person, because that's your subconscious being that really holds your true belief. Our true belief is not in our conscious, it's in our subconscious. And so we have to learn how to do work in our subconscious in order to really make lasting changes.
Yeah.
Okay? So yeah, so identifying the damaging file, identifying the associated lie, and then what truth will you replace that lie with? Okay, those 3 steps. And once you have replaced, you know, that lie, and in many cases, the piece itself is a replacement. That's why internalizing it. I used to say memorizing it, but it's not about memorizing. It's about internalizing. The piece itself will actually hold the truths that you want to replace the lies with. That's one of the things that the pieces do, is they identify the lies because you're right here on the truth, and if you aren't there, you know, it's you know, it's kind of evident that you're not there, or that you struggle with that, or whatever the case is. So those are the 3 steps in the process of building. And then, of course, writing, because now you've got to write a statement about yourself that's relative to what you just learned, what you've just understood. You need to now begin to voice that. And the first place to do that is about writing a statement that you can begin saying to yourself about yourself, you know, on a daily basis, you know, to replace, again, those associated lies. Cool?
Cool.
All right. Well, we are at the top of the hour. Thank you for doing that, Jewel. And thank you all, for those of you who are remained on and watched. Thank you for being a part of that. Listen, again, hit me up if you want to be a part of this coaching program. The link is in the bio. Okay? You can find out more information about it. You can certainly hit me up if you want to ask some specific questions. We can do that as well. Otherwise, hey man, join the program. Go over to Getting Clear with Tim Jones on YouTube. Okay? Subscribe to the channel, like and share the videos. All of the videos that we do here on Instagram, they live on YouTube. Getting Clear with Tim Jones on YouTube. Okay? Do us a wonderful favor and go over there and subscribe. You'll always be able to get back to and audit the conversations that we are having on here. You'll want to do that because there's some things that we'll say that you'll want to hear again. You may want to make sure that you heard what you thought you heard, and you want to begin rehearsing some of this stuff in your own heart, in your own mind, to help develop a line of thinking that will move you away from not being and move you towards closer to being. Okay, remember, the sequence is to be, to do, and then to have. Okay, and we want to help you to be the best version. I said this before. There's really only one version of you. Everything else is counterfeit. Okay, to find the real you and begin living from that place of authenticity. That's what we want to help you to be able to do. So thank you again for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure being able to do this with you. Always a pleasure to be with my lovely daughter. And we'll come back to you again in a couple of weeks. Let us know if we can be of any assistance to you. If we can help you with anything, let us know, man. That's what we're here, and that's what we do. All right? I'm going to sign off for now. Any last words, Jewel?
No, nothing.
All right. I'm going to sign off for now like I do always, encouraging you to live full so that you can die empty. Good night, everybody.
Good
Thanks for
night.
joining.